Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. If you could do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe before we get into this one, but we've got a bunch of topics to go through, just as usual. And we'll be starting out with Chelsea are the latest club to show interest in signing Alexander Isak. I'm sure you're all aware of him. Bit of a wonder kid striker going around at the moment. The next topic then is that Declan Rice is reportedly holding out for a Chelsea move and wants that deal to happen in the summer. Then finally we'll be discussing Antonio Rudiger and how his contract demands have now increased. So let's start out with that first bit of news. Chelsea are the latest club to show an interest in signing Real Sociedad striker Alexander Isak. Now this is a report coming from Tom Hopkinson. So, you know, not the most valid, not tier 1 sort of source or anything, but it is a report coming out, and I would not be surprised to see Chelsea looking to pick up this guy. Of course, you think it's maybe a little bit weird given that Chelsea at the moment, you know, we've spent money on strikers. We went from Timo to Lukaku. That's a lot of money already spent on people we thought were going to be banging in the goals for us. To be adding Alexander Isak to that list, you know, someone's going to have to leave at some point, whether that's Lukaku getting his dream move back towards Inter, or whether that's Timo on his way out because he's not too happy with the lack of playing time, I don't know. But if Isak is coming in, to me that signals that Chelsea are getting rid of someone. And that is a bit of a shame, but let's take a look a bit further into Alexander Isak. Now he is worth 36 million as it stands. I would expect the transfer fee to be a lot higher than that. He's got a contract running until 2026, as you can see on the right here. That's just a massive problem for anyone looking to buy. He's also 22 years old, so very young, very tall, 1.92 meters tall. A Swedish international already, 31 caps and 8 goals for Sweden, so done really well on the international stage. If we're looking, you know, you want a bit more detail about him. He's a striker. Of course, he's been on with Dortmund. I'm pretty sure he went out on loan. Had a few different moves here. You can see the end of the loans. And then went from Dortmund to Sociedad for 13.5 mil. So not a lot at all, and they could be set to make a lot of money off of him. If we take a look at his SofaScore page, you can see along the right here, I'm just about covering it, so I'll zoom out. On the right-hand side here, you can see his recent performances. It shows the most recent 5. A couple okay performances in there, but nothing outstanding. Really showing that other than this Villarreal game. And then you can see further down on these stats, 19 total games played, 15 starts, 4 goals and 1 assist down here. So that's, you know, if you're looking at just for straight stats, you want to know a bit more about him, that's what you're looking at. This season, it's not very good. That's basically 5 goal involvements in 15 starts, so that's a goal involvement every 3rd game. That's not really enough from a striker, and someone that you're probably going to end up paying a lot more than this 36 million valuation of him. I'd expect it to be a lot higher than that. But if we do take a look at some of his previous, you can see this season, like I said, it's 4 goals, 1 assist. But last season, 34 appearances in the league, 17 goals and 2 assists. That's pretty strong. Chelsea currently don't have a player that looks like they're going to hit 17 goals. So that could be pretty good. Keep in mind though, this guy is coming from a different league into the Premier League. We saw Timo Werner hitting good numbers out in the German league, and then obviously was unable to produce it in the Premier League as of yet. So, you know, this being translated, keep that in mind is about all I'd say from La Liga to the Premier League. And then you got, of course, the European competitions. This year, 5 starts, 3 goals in the Europa League, so not too bad at all. And you're looking at a guy that, you know, across his career has hit some okay goal numbers. You know, these with Willem II, the second team, you're looking at 13 goals in 16 games in the Eredivisie. We saw, of course, Hakim Ziyech coming from there. And you see throughout all of these different competitions where his sort of goals lie, and they're decent numbers, but they're not insane. But you watch the guy play, you do think he's got a bright future ahead, and is going to be a strong striker. So for me, 22 years old, I'd like to see Chelsea bring him in. It's a little bit baffling because, you know, we've sold players like Tammy Abraham that now we're reportedly looking at bringing in. We're not reportedly bringing in, but we've got the buyback clause on him. Sorry, that was I misspoke there. You got now Chelsea looking at buying players like Alexander Isak that aren't hitting, you know, crazy numbers compared to like Tammy Abraham. Like Tammy Abraham's hitting better numbers than him this season. Of course, in a different league and such, but to me, it's just, I worry that Chelsea are just buying players, and if they don't stick in a year or two, that's it. You're gone. You've been sold on. Whereas I want to see someone, you know, stick in the team, stay for a sustained period of time, learn the league, develop into a player that can dominate the Premier League. Because if you're just going to keep throwing money at strikers and hoping that they stick in 1 to 2 years, like the magical Diego Costa and such, then you're going to be wrong most of the time. So if we're going to get him, he's 22, let's make this one last for the long haul. You know, like, I just worry that Chelsea are just thinking, let's just buy someone else and hopefully this one sticks. You're not really going to get that most of the time. So that's just my take on it, but Chelsea are showing interest in signing him, so we'll see where it leads. Next up then, we have Declan Rice reportedly holding out for a Chelsea move, and that is just things I love to hear, because, you know, we've been thrown back into the Declan Rice links, as it says this week, and basically it just says that Rice is holding out for a move back to his childhood club, the club that he supported since he was a kid, and he's had a season ticket at. So he wants to come back to Chelsea. Chelsea are going to need a defensive midfielder, someone to strengthen that midfield, especially with Kante getting old and players moving on. It makes perfect sense to me, and I really do think that this next summer coming up is going to be the year that Chelsea go out and get Declan Rice, and I cannot wait for it. Declan Rice in that midfield with someone like Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, even if Conor Gallagher is, you know, one of the bench options, and we sign an elite European player like we have with Kovacic or Jorginho at the moment. That to me is just so exciting, because you've got the defensive side, you've got Mason Mount going forward, and then maybe you have, you know, a David Silva-esque next to them that's capable of spraying passes all over the place. You know, I'd happily just keep Kovacic in there, but of course these players are aging. Kovacic's dribbling ability in that midfield is something I value very much. But this report, Declan Rice are holding out for a Chelsea move. To me, with all the links of him going to Man United, this could very well backfire. I'd be surprised to see him go to Man United. I just feel like he's young, he's switched on. Is Man United the kind of club you want to go to at the moment, or the club like Chelsea that, of course, he's got the history at, got a load of mates at? He has some at Man United, don't get me wrong, but then also has, you know, Chelsea won the Champions League recently. We're much closer to City and Liverpool than Man United are. They don't have a clear manager situation at the moment. You know, is Ralf Rangnick going to stay on? Is he moving upstairs to the boardroom? Who are they going to bring in at the end of the year? Like, there's a lot of uncertainty. Come to Chelsea at the end of the year and we'll win some big trophies with Declan Rice in this team, I'm convinced. So this is some good news. And then finally, we're going through Chelsea superstar increases wage demands to sign new contract after rejecting La Liga offer. Now, we went over this the other day saying that he reportedly rejected a offer from Barcelona, sorry. And that is, of course, Antonio Rudiger. But we've got a little bit of an update on what his current demands are and why they're where they are, basically. It says up here, you know, Chelsea are looking to renew the contracts, blah, blah, blah. We know the situation with most of them. It's now believed that the German international is asking for $225 a week after rejecting... Real Madrid, well, sorry, not Barcelona, yeah, that's correct. Which would have seen him pocket about 173 grand a week. So we saw that report coming out. And then there were numbers floating around 225, 240, things like that. This is coming through The Athletic, so I think it's, you know, fairly reliable. 225 is the number that Chelsea need to hit. And then, of course, we saw the other day reports saying that Chelsea offered 200 and he rejected. So, you know, if this deal is that close, there's 25 grand a week, which is a lot of money to any of us, but to the, you know, the club, to these players, it's not. 25 grand a week is nothing. So I think this deal is going to go over the line, and we're going to see Antonio Rudiger staying at Chelsea. I'm pretty confident of that now, unless some crazy stuff happens between now and the end of, sort of, you know, this season or whatever. But I really do think Rudiger is staying. Azpi maybe not, because he wants that extra year that Chelsea don't really tend to offer. And Christensen, I think we can upgrade on Christensen maybe, so that's not the worst one to be letting go of the three. But nevertheless, that is good news. Let me know what you guys think of all these topics down in the comment section down below. Which one's your favourite? Are you more excited to be signing Alexander Isak potentially, or Declan Rice? For me, it's Declan Rice. I know Isak's going to be the more flashy one that gets all the goals, but Declan Rice in that midfield, that just gets me very excited. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a like on it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys in a future video. Goodbye.